Hi, everyone. Happy Friday. I hope you're doing well. I want to get into the talk really, really fast today. But before I do that, quick reminder, we have registration out for the fall. I am getting to registrations. It's a little bit slower than expected, but I'm getting to them and hope to have everybody who signed up thus far, everybody's assignment next week. So please keep them coming. We would love to have you this upcoming year. We have a good roster of teachers. You guys have been introduced to quite a few of them on our the YouTube channel, but please reach out. Hello at RaleighSchoolOfMusic.com. Lessons are such a great way for you to get your creative outlet going. It's a way to meet other people. It's a way to figure out who you are, what you want in this world. And so, music lessons, yes, especially with a degree teacher who has worked really hard on their own schooling and has put in the time and put in the effort and put in the money for their own schooling. So, you can imagine that the caliber is going to be good. We are all also trying to be better teachers too. Is not stagnant. We keep going. And so that's something that we can guarantee you with our teachers is that we will keep learning. And, for ourselves, we like to perform too. And so being able to be that model for you and teach you what we've learned, I think is kind of makes us who we are at the school, makes us our mission is cultivating confidence and artistic excellence through music. So how do we get to artistic excellence? I argue there is no particular denotation. There's no line, and you can always get better. You can always get better, and I think that's what makes it excellence when you are never just status quo. You're always learning. And there are going to be times in life where it's going to be that you need to take a break a little and take a step back. And then there are going to be times where you're going to like go ham. But as long as that trajectory is going forward, that is artistic excellence, in my opinion. So yeah, I wanted to talk last week. I mentioned this book. I know it's like, oh, I can't, I'm like a music school person doing a thing about this book, this bad word. It is such a good book. I've been reading so much psychology books lately. It is I think the best one I've read out of everything lately. And I say that a lot that like, but no, this is such a good book. And I think the biggest thing is that in therapy, I'm working on, and I think I've told you, maybe I've told you this. I can't even remember if I told you this, working on what my values are, what I want in this life. And I'm always working on that with the school, and we met with my aunt who is amazing. And hopefully, I don't know if she's watching right now, but Aunt Mary, you're amazing. She went through with my team, and we did our values as a team a few years ago. And it's so funny. You would think that if I'm doing that with my team, that I would do that with myself when I had never sat down and was like, what do I care about? Like, what are my big things? And so for me, this book, in addition to working with my therapist, in addition to emotional agility, which was the book that my therapist suggested I read, it's all about values. It's about what are we going to spend our time worrying about, thinking about, focusing on, what are the non-negotiable things? What are the things that you must have in your life, like, for yourself? What like it makes those choices in life, because we have tons of choices. It makes those easier, especially if they are not people pleasery choices. If like not everybody's going to like it, but if you are making those choices out of alignment with yourself, if you feel good about them, then you can feel good about it, even if nobody else agrees, even if nobody else, is nice to you or, wants to hang out with you. But as long as you are acting out of your own values, then you can feel good about that. And so it's been a eye opener for me because I've never sat down and thought about specifically what that is. I've always done all these manifestation things, which again, I've talked about a tons. They're wonderful things, but sometimes I would do these manifestation things, and other people, other situations, other things would be involved in this. And the thing is that we have no control over other people or over things or over other situations. We only have control over ourselves. I say this to remind myself all the time. So it wasn't a values thing at all. I was too dependent on what other people were doing in order for me to make my create my life, make my choices. And so Now I know values are the things that are in the present moment, not necessarily the future, although I'm very much a future-minded person and I'm always looking towards the future. But it's what do I care about now? Like what is it now? What are the things that I want to feel now? What are the things that what are the beliefs that I want to believe now? And one of those things is that I, no matter what happens, I just feel so strongly about this school and what I'm trying to do and what we're trying to do as a team. And, you know, it's just it's interesting. It's interesting. You find out what you really want to do, no matter what the outcome is. And so that's a huge value for me. But yeah, this book, go read it. It's a very easy read. They're easy, relatable stories, and it's interesting because this guy is not coming from like a clinical or like scientific like thing. It's just all from him, and so I very much identified with a lot of the things he was saying because it just makes sense. We spend too much of our lives giving up about things that we shouldn't be, and it gets us in trouble. So in that same respect, that same topic, I want to talk about a little bit about attachment styles and being a musician and just in general. Attachment styles have been like all the rage right now, all over social media. Have you guys heard about it? Whether you're anxiously attached or if you're avoidantly attached, um, it's everywhere. I'm seeing it all the place. And then there's the book Attached. That's a good book too if you want to go read one. It's interesting. It kind of puts into perspective a lot of our patterns, things that we know we continue to do. And one thing I want to reiterate in this talk is that I personally do not believe, I've heard it said before, but I do not believe that we are one way all the time. But I can tell you with me, if I were to look at my life, the things that I really care about, the things that I really care about, relationships, the school, just uh, people, friendships, just all of that, the things I really care. I tend to behave, and I have tended to behave in one way, and has really hindered me in certain ways. But then also, people don't think about the good sides of certain attachment styles. They usually talk about all of the bad ones. And I think it's because, A, I don't think there is many securely attached people who are secure all the time everywhere. I think at one point the statistic was like 50% and now it's gone down. I don't know. I don't know if I even believe that it's even, that I think 35% that I've heard now. I think that I think internet has had a huge part to play in that, but I think that, like I said, we don't act one way in every situation, and we continue to repeat patterns until we consciously change them. And I don't know if in every therapy or every time where we work on ourselves that we are always tuning into that stuff that we like for me when I was going into therapy for a long time and I told you been in and out for years. I think I went in going I'm going to change that. I'm going to change other people. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change other people so they'll be more nice to me, like, and what I can do to change other people. That's like what I went into thinking what I could do to change other people, how I could behave, thinking that if I behave differently, then they're going to behave differently. And maybe there's some of that's true, but I think now that I'm aware of it, I'm not sure that 100% of that is true. I don't think that I have the power to change people and if they don't want to be changed. I don't have the power to do anything and expect anything from anybody else if they don't want to. And so it's been interesting. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what the different attachment styles are. And attachment Adam, I think he's wonderful. You haven't seen his stuff on Instagram or YouTube, go check him out. But he put out a really cool thing today, and let me get to it really quick. It describes what the attachment styles need, what they look like, and I really liked it. All right, let me get to it. All right. It's so his little thing today was, are you ready to learn your attachment style? Uh, and he says, why your attachment style matters more than you think. It determines who you're attracted to, how you communicate during conflict, whether you can trust deeply, and if your relationship lasts or self-destructs. Now that can go for anything because we have a relationship with everything in our lives, right? So there is the one I think that's probably the most talked about is anxious attachment. And it says, if you are anxiously attached, you crave deep connection, but fear abandonment constantly. You fall in love quickly, overthink every text, and need constant reassurance. And when your partner pulls away, you chase harder, which usually pushes them further away. Your nervous system treats relationship uncertainty like a life or death emergency. So I've been there a little bit. I've been there. I've been there, and I've noticed that in my dealings at school. I've been there. The next one is avoidant attachment. You value independence above all else and struggle with emotional intimacy. You're attracted to people but become uncomfortable when they want to get too close. And you prefer to solve problems alone and see emotional needs as weakness or manipulation. Your nervous system treats deep connection like a threat to your survival. I have also been here. I've also noticed that this is one of the ways that I behave at the school as well. I keep a distance from people, and sometimes I find myself hiding in my room to do my work, or so that I don't have to deal with stuff. And so the last one, which is my what I tend to how I tend to behave, and that is disorganized. Okay. So I will just say the connotation of disorganized, I think, is really unfair. I think that people who have this are unfairly judged for a lot of reasons, but one of them being that we are maybe neurotic and crazy. I am both of those things, yes, but I also am a whole bunch of other things too. And I think in a way, this attachment style has actually helped me quite a bit. So, all right, here, let me explain it to you. You want love desperately, but it terrifies you simultaneously. You fall hard and fast and sabotage everything when it gets real. You flip between anxious and avoidant behaviors and confusing yourself and your partners. And your nervous system learned that love equals danger in childhood. So, yeah, I'm going to come back to that in a second because I definitely identify with that one more than the other ones. But I also identify with this last one, secure attachment. You're comfortable with both intimacy and independence. You communicate needs directly, handle conflict calmly, and trust comes naturally. You attract healthy partners and build relationships that strengthen over time. Your nervous system treats love as safety, not threat. So I also believe that especially as I've gotten older, having a lot of secure attachment traits within my relationships, but then also with the school. One of them, and this I feel like has hindered me as this part being secure. And it is just interesting that I actually want to communicate. I want to communicate more so than I think some people are comfortable with, but I want to communicate. And I think that that is the secret to handling anything in our lives, that more communication is good, not better. Whereas before, where when I was younger and the disorganized part of me, that the part of me that would be flip between avoidant and anxious would say, oh, that's scary for people, you can't do this, like you can't communicate with people because that's going to make them uncomfortable. So I was worried about their comfortability instead of saying, hey, can we talk. I think it's sometimes easier. I said this last week, and now I'm like, as you can tell, that this is a progression. I've said it's my the way that I'm kind of dealing with stuff is not worrying about the why, but at the same time, then how do you communicate with people if there is no like curiosity? If you're not wondering about things, like then how will you ever be motivated to talk to them? So I think that I have secure traits and I think I have disorganized traits. And I think that it's tough because I think this society, this world right now actually rewards avoidant behavior. Not only does do a lot of people do behave in that way, but I think it rewards the behavior because I this belief started I started to notice this from other people, and I worry that I was kind of taking some of this on. Although what's good is that it's not my inclination, but I just noticed this that the people who care less seem to have the power. The people who care less seem to have the power in relationships, at the school, just in the community, friendships. They have the power. It seems to me, from someone who is not that, to be looking from the outside, it seems like they have to do less work. They have that everything seems to come to them. Now, we know that's not actually true. That is a facade, but there is just like this air of I shouldn't have to do anything. I shouldn't have to do anything for any relationships. I shouldn't have to do like and they'll just come to me and it's a very I guess what I like about avoidant is that it's like you're not worried. But I don't know, it's still insecure, so I guess they are worried. I guess it is a worried thing. But um I think that like you just have to have like the inner like a knowing, right? But you also have to be willing to work too. Like so anyway, so the disorganized part, it's not something that I am like, yay, this is great. This is something that's but there are some good parts to it because again, the same thing about the secure part, I think is good about the disorganized part. I am willing to talk. I want to talk. I want to work on stuff. Even if my initial freak out is to run away or to argue or whatever it is, I still come back and I'm able to say, "Hey, can we talk about this?" And so I think that disorganized has not been so bad. I think it has protected me. I mean, it has protected, like, I think what disorganized has taught me is to actually listen to my gut. I was questioning it for a while. I have a story. Um, there was a person in my life, and I'm being very TMI right now, that I had very, very strong feelings for. And it happened really fast. It came out of the blue. It was not something that I planned on. It was not something that I actually wanted because yeah. And it happened. And I freaked out. My nervous system freaked out. My brain freaked. I freaked out. And this is when all this other stuff was going on, all this like the trauma and everything was going on at the same time. I mean, it had just happened and everything. And so I couldn't deal with it. I was not able to deal with this situation in a clear-headed way. Yet I still wanted to talk about it. I wanted to talk. It wasn't feasible to talk about it, but what it taught me is that in that situation, while I had a freak out, a momentary freak out, I was still able to be secure with it. I did not let it completely wreck me. I was able to keep going forward. I was able to it got me out of my head, which was good. And I think it has since made me more secure in like what I want and more secure in my values and not dependent upon another person. It just didn't. I think that disorganized has taught me what I want and what I don't want in this world, and that is not dependent upon another person. It's what I want. And it doesn't mean I'm going to get what I want because that's not life. And that part of it, I still am working on because that what that's the part of me that I'm working on. But I'm okay. and I will be okay. And yeah, I think the disorganized part of me protected me. And it's taken me till now to say that. And it's I don't know how long I'm going to keep this video up. I don't know. I might keep it up. You know what? I probably will keep it up because I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed of this. I'm not. I just I've been around, I've lived a long time now. I'm old. And I just know and trust myself what I want and what I don't want. And I don't have to have all of the information to be able to make a decision. And that's just the reality of the situation. So I don't necessarily think that these attachment styles, while it's all the buzz, everybody's talking about it, I don't know if they're as horrible as one might think. That, for a while when I was reading all this stuff, I was like, well, darn, I'm doomed. I'm never going to be able to to be successful in life because I'm, pushing people away and then I'm, hanging on to them for dear life. I think there is something too, by the way, the other part of disorganized is that I think there's something to the fact that I have a hard time letting things go. I think that's actually a good thing because that gives me plenty of time to know if something is right for me or if it's not. There is not a question because I held on for dear life. So now I'm able to trust myself a little bit more. And maybe if I can let go of things a little bit earlier, I will. Doesn't necessarily mean I will. Actually, I'm okay if I can't let things go. I am okay with that. I can handle it. Is it painful? Extremely, extremely. But anybody who's feeling pain like this, anybody who has to work for their relationships and for everything. I don't know. Do you feel like this? I feel like I've had to work for every single thing in my life. I rarely do I feel like things just happen to me. I'm in the human design stuff. I was really into that. And I am a specific manifester. And so I have specifically manifested everything in my life thus far. It was been me. It's been, I put the work in, and yes, I'm working on a better balance in my life and being able to do other things and I am. I mean, I am much more balanced in terms of what I'm doing, and it just hobby wise and friend wise, and just not one person, not one thing is now everything. I do not describe myself to people solely by my job anymore. That's like a big difference. And when I talk to people, and there's so many other things, so many more interesting things besides just this. While I love this, and this is my life's work, it's not everything. To the point is, I ask myself, why do I do this channel? Why do I do it? What's the point? And last week I said I do it regardless of who's watching. It's been so helpful. I think a big issue for me since I was young, and this is a belief that I'm working on changing because I tend to get into beliefs and been hard to change, but I don't always feel very heard. I don't always feel very heard, and I feel like, and I have some ideas of maybe why. And one of the things that I rarely think about is that it's because of myself, because of what, you know, I sometimes I stutter my words. I say the same words over and over again. I have hard time sometimes with eye contact, and I have a hard time sometimes relating to people. I can it's easier for me to be able to say what I believe and stuff right here because I'm not right in front. I think sometimes that's a part of the avoidant or the disorganized, that I am sometimes petrified of people. Like, I just am. That doesn't mean that I don't want to talk to people. I just am sometimes petrified. And I don't know if that makes me an introvert or I think I'm an extrovert. I'm an extrovert that's scared of people. Is that, I mean, even to the point where I don't know if you out in the world have felt this, but I feel like it's easier for me to talk to people when there is money involved, meaning that when it is transactional, when I'm either paying someone or they are paying me, it feels almost freer for me. It feels like I can, like, there's less buy-in, which I think that's so weird to say. And so I just noticed that that's a pattern. I feel much more comfortable when I feel like I am giving something back. And maybe the idea of not giving anything back is just like, it's like, what do I have to offer? Like, what do I have to offer this relationship, this conversation? I don't even know. I mean, that scares me because I think the idea, disorganized, we're afraid of abandonment. I think that they're going to just leave eventually. And I mean, I don't think there. This is a belief I got to change, but I think everybody like this is something I've really got to change, is because I really do think everybody is going to leave. I really do, and so I anticipate that, and so then I sometimes cut off things, because that's what's going to happen. And so why would I wait to watch the ending of something when and I think I'm good, even though I'm petrified by people and connecting to them and all that, I also think I'm a good reader of people. So it's just kind of weird. I think I can see when they start to, like, I don't know, not are not buying in anymore. And of course, that is not a fact, but I feel like I can, for the most part, I think I've done this business enough. I've done, where I can see where that's happening. I can see some signs, and so, and in those moments, maybe it's just I've held on too long, trying to make something work that doesn't work. Um, so I'm working on what that line looks like when it is to, cut the cord. Um, because I still question myself on that, because again, in the past maybe I've cut that cord too fast, and then in recent years, in you know I'm just going to be very blunt. In my divorce, you guys know, this is not a surprise. I while he's a great guy, like, very good friend, it was way too long. It was not a situation for either of us. We were just, yeah. I waited too long for that, when all of the signs I was just ignoring. I was just kind of making it happen. So I think one thing I'm going to start doing differently at the school is, to be even more clear initially that we do have this commitment at the school, but then not being devastated after the commitment if people don't continue, because they will get what they need. I don't have to be this school doesn't have to be the only way that they get what they need. And that's a very self-centered way of looking at things that I did in the past, and it's not fair to people, and it's also not fair to my teachers, because, yeah, I'm just going to keep pushing for, with my teachers and just with in life, like, communication, just to the point where people are going to hate me. And I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with that. I still might struggle because I worry about abandonment. I worry about being blindsided. I have been blindsided. I have been blindsided. I'll say one thing. I my dad, who was not in my life, he left when I was a baby, and I have not, and my family has not seen him ever since. And he died a few years ago, and I will never get a chance to talk to him. Matter of fact, I can't even talk to his sisters or anything like that. I mean, it's they were not in communication, so I wouldn't get answers or anything like that. So it's done. So I grew up thinking that people were going to abandon, because it happened. People, they talk about disorganized and they say, like, oh, they're always so worried. They're all, always like crazy ex-girlfriend. That's the stereotype, but like they don't understand that it's literally what we have seen. Like we've actually experienced that, actually experienced it. So if you experience something and then you kind of get into a pattern, if I was in a pattern disorder, then I'm going to be repeating that pattern. So I'm seeing it over and over again. And it's hard to see another way when that's what you're used to and that's what you've been around. And so it took that experience with this person that I was talking about, it took until then to go, wait a minute, wait a minute. Yeah, this is like I'm I have a part to play in this. And to start to be aware of my patterns, but it also got me aware that like, wait a minute, I'm also secure too. I'm like also securely attached as well. Like I get it now that like I'm not this monster. So it's been interesting. I would say when you're talking about attachment styles, let's stop like like I was doing this too. Let's stop like judging each other for it, right? To like have more understanding about it that like it's not like the worst thing in the world. I mean, we just talk about it now but for years we weren't talking about that stuff and people made their businesses work, made their relationships work. Like we're just aware of it now. So like why do we have to close ourselves off to a whole certain way? Like, why do we have to close ourselves off to avoidance? Why do we have to close ourselves off to anxious? Why do we have to close ourselves off to disorganized? That's like tendencies, like that is, but that's not a person. And we have choice. That's what makes us human, right? We have choice. And sometimes we just needed someone to like, open our eyes a little bit. And we can't open each other's eyes by telling, each other what to do, which is what Aaron has done in the past, is try to tell everybody what to do. Doesn't mean that I'm still not bossy and I'm going to, it doesn't mean that I'm still like not that I don't have conviction, because I will, and I will, and it doesn't mean that I'm not gonna like get on here and talk about stuff like I know it something. And by the way, I don't know anything about what I'm talking about. I literally just find all this stuff interesting. I'm learning as I go. I am not an expert, so please, if you've got anger, like I get angry at myself, I go back and watch these sometimes. I'm like, why did I sound so sure? It's I'm an actor. What can I say? Like I learned how to have a point of view and stuff, and I definitely believe in what I'm saying, but I also can have my mind change too. And I'm in the middle of my healing work. It's a lifelong process, but I think the biggest thing that I've learned since I've been doing trauma therapy and stuff is I am not a freaking monster and not one thing or this. And everybody deserves I don't care if people don't like this, but everybody deserves to meet their dreams, to be in relationships with people that they deserve to be. I'm sorry, does that sound entitled? It's entitled then. I deserve I think everybody deserves to be happy. I do. And if that means that you're doing things a little out of the box, a little bit, yeah. I was supposed to say like doing things crazy. I mean, myth of normal, right? That we're none like I just wasn't accepting of that for a long time. I wasn't accepting that I'm a little crazy, that I have crazy dreams, and you love who you love, right? Like sometimes it doesn't really make sense. Sometimes it really doesn't make sense. But it's a decision, and doesn't mean that I won't make more decisions going forward. And yeah, I would say that being or having disorganized traits doesn't make life easy. I would say it actually makes it harder in certain respects, because that means I am not waiting around and allowing things to happen all the time. That means I'm going to have to work. at stuff that sometimes I've looked at my friends who are, all of my friends are completely gorgeous and just awesome, and so many good things have happened to them. And a lot of it has like fallen in their laps and other things and I'm not, but sometimes I look at them and I go, wow, this has been so easy. This has been such, and that has not necessarily been my experience. And in a way, it's my experience. And I think I kept thinking I was expecting that it was going to become like that I was going to become like the other beautiful women in my life that, I love and care about. Like I thought that it would just be easy. And you know what? I'm looking at it from the outside. It's very real possibility that it is not easy. But certain things, certain aspects of life have been easier because I they talk to me like yeah. But I think this is also a gift in a way too because then I can relate to people a little bit more, even though people petrify me a lot of time. It takes me a while to warm up to people. I probably won't show you who I really am for a while. It's just the reality of the situation. Yeah, I'm not always this happy when I'm on here. I'm really not. I'm more identify with my Elphaba side than my Glinda side. Wicked. I am more uh yeah, I'm not as happy as Glinda a lot of the time, but I'm also not very, I guess, easy to be around like Glinda either. I think yeah, I stand up for myself. And I think sometimes that surprises people. Yeah, I think sometimes that surprises people that I stand up for myself because I think I come across as someone who is very obliging and yeah, not always. No, I hear a lot people are always looking for people who bring peace. I don't always bring peace. I bring excitement and fun and we'll have a good, conversation and I'll push and believe in you and believe you can do anything that you want to, but I'm not always going to be able to always bring peace. And I think that is something, at least in the online worlds and in the dating world, that's got to go out the window. I think that has been for those of us who have had disorganized trade, that is a very tough um it's just I can't live up to that, right? That is not real. There are going to be things that upset me. There are going to be things that upset you. There are going to be things that, you know, I think that we think that one person can be our refuge, can be our, and that's just not, yes, it can be, and that's us. Not always though. Sometimes I need to be co-regulated. I need somebody to be like, yo, Aaron, yo, can you stop? Can you stop? Can you stop? Can you stop talking? I mean, like, look at me right now. I'm rambling right now. This is I externalize stuff. I talk. I like think through things by talking, and so that's why I like this thing. I actually hope I don't want to get too big, A, because I don't want the feedback. I don't want the negative stuff. But I want to still be able to put these on without having to edit them because I don't want to edit anything. I don't want to take the time. I just want to talk and I want to be able to have my stuttering and I want to be able to have, sets where I don't do anything with them. And I want to get to the real conversations. Like I want to not worry about the edited version. And the edited version happens so much in my real world. And I'm working on that because I'd like to not be like that more and more. It's scary though, especially being here in the South and owning a business. It's very hard to be able to be this candid and not have it affect stuff. I want to be able to and it's not because I am caring about the money. It's actually because I want to make sure that I'm continuing my value. I don't want to prevent someone from being able to feel comfortable to come in and to try things. Um, I still though I have to make sure that I'm being authentic too, though. So it's a line. I don't always know the line. I don't, yeah. Um, but I'm gonna keep working. And I can tell you this, I mess up a lot. I get upset. I've, yeah, done things I haven't been very proud of. But what I can tell you is I'm committed to keeping going forward. I mean, I can't imagine doing anything else other than I have a few things I want to do now, but other than running the school, maybe getting right back into teaching voice lessons a little bit. Maybe we'll see. But I'm also teaching an acting class, which I don't know if you saw on our website, but I'm going to be teaching a Meisner class and teaching Pilates once a week. Maybe more. I might start subbing somewhere else, maybe at the Y or something like that. I'm not sure yet, but that'll come later. Um, and I want to perform. I've missed. I've been performing at church, but I want to go and perform other places. I'd love to be able to do some plays. I'd love to be able. Gosh, if we had more opera companies, I would love to be able to do an opera. It's been such a long time. I miss it so much. I wish that we had more people who were interested in opera in the area. I wish that we had more of a way to, I mean, I have a space. We could do one. It's just, it's a lot of time and a lot of money. And it feels like it's just dying. And it shouldn't be. It is, guys, go see an opera. Go to North Carolina Opera. Go see an opera. It is amazing. It is amazing. The themes in there are so fitting for these times. Like, here's the thing, though. You have to be willing to look at the super titles. You have to be able to to be willing enough to go see something in a different language and read about it. Look, it just takes a little bit more effort. That's all. It just takes a little bit more effort. I would like to say it's just like me. If I might take a little bit more effort. And I thought for a long time that that wasn't okay, but it is okay. It has to be okay because it's me. And yeah. Anyway, so as you can see, I can see a lot of parallels with stuff. But I was also thinking about something too. I love therapy. I love psychology. It's all I've read about I mean, for years. I love self-help stuff. So I would love to be doing something with that too. So, I mean, I told you guys I might uh get my yoga certification, which I'm starting the training for that in the fall, hopefully, and then hopefully be a yoga therapist eventually. But part of me, and I'm just saying this, part of me wants to be a therapist too. Like part of me just really, really does. But then I can't do all these other things too. So I don't think I could run two businesses at the same time. I don't think that would be, and then would I ever have time to perform? So I have to still think about this a little bit, but I love it. And I think I would be darn good at it too, just because I've had experiences. Like I think just right there, like I think that I could relate to people. But I also think that being a therapist would be really tough to be able to learn such deep things about people and then have to like close up at the end of the day every day and just like go on. That seems really tough to me. That seems like I don't know, but maybe I could be a different kind of therapist. I don't know. So anyway, I'm gonna think about it some more. I'm already doing a ton of stuff, but I think that is the secret. If we everybody's getting like burnout and not feeling inspired by our jobs and stuff. I don't necessarily think that the the solution is to stop doing what you're doing, right? Because I think that it doesn't matter what you do, it's going to happen. There is going to be an ebb and flow of anything that you do. It's just if you're there long enough, that's what's going to happen. It's how what are you doing outside of the hours? Like what are you doing? Are you 100% identifying with your job or do you have other things in your life? But then how if you do have other things in your life and you're still burnt out with your job, what other things could you do within your job? Like what could you add to it instead of taking away, instead of I just think that I've just seen this as a music school owner that we drop out of things really fast. Really fast. Now, don't be an Aaron and stay on things so long if it's just not working and but here's the catch. You have to try things first. You have to try, you have to communicate, and if it's still not working, then that's your answer. If you're still like, then there you go. I think maybe that's the secret of life is knowing when to move on. Again, I don't want, I keep saying, I don't, not letting go. I don't like the idea of letting go. Nothing really goes. It's all with us. It's moving on, allowing it to transform, allowing your feelings and your values and beliefs and all of that, allowing that to transform, transmute. I don't know. It's not an easy process. There's a lot of pain in that. Maybe I feel like things haven't been easy for me because it's hard. I thought that like I numbed out a lot, and I think I did, but I think there's also been a part of me since I was a baby that's also been aware of the pain and carrying it with me and not really knowing what to do with it and not knowing how to heal it, or it was just kind of a scar. It was an open wound. It's an open wound. And that wound now is starting to close. It's starting to close. I can feel it starting to close. It might not ever fully close. I don't know. But I need to feel and I needed to like feel all of it. I needed to feel, and I don't know if I've still felt all of the pain from not having a father. But I now like I just I believe that I can start to move forward now. It's like I needed to get through more of that pain to really get through it. You can only do it by getting through it. You can't do it by just so like my tendency was to overprogram, but now I'm overprogramming because I want to. Like I feel like this is a choice that I've made. This is not because I had to, but it's a choice that I've made. And that and who knows, maybe I'm wrong. I don't like I mean, I keep thinking I know like what the meaning is in my life, like all this stuff. And again, not trying to harp on the why, but I do think attachment styles, there's something to that. I think that instead of like talking about mental illness in a way that's like, this is this, you have this, blah, 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 blah. The good thing about attachment styles is you can change them. And so it's not this static thing, and we're not all monsters. Doesn't mean I don't always think of myself as a monster because oh, I definitely have times. But I'm moving forward, and you should too. I literally have faith in you. Do you have faith in you? Are you allowing yourself to grieve? We have such freaking timelines for grief that we're supposed to grieve a certain amount of time. We always have like, oh, for any relationship, it's like half the relationship. That's such BS. It's us, people wanting to like put some arbitrary thing on it to make themselves feel better. And then when people don't stop grieving after that certain amount of time, people start to pull away. They start to say, "Oh, that this is too long. Why aren't you doing something?" Like blah blah blah. Because we don't all have the same timelines. We don't all have the same stuff that we're working through. But that does not mean that we can't be with each other and sit with each other and we don't have to try to fix everything. My mom, I love her, but she is a fixer. It's very hard for her to just listen sometimes. And I mean, it's all of us. We all are like that. But she's gotten better in these past few months, and that's cool. Because we have stuff we're dealing with right now. And so, and we always have stuff that we're dealing with, but she and I have been able to relate better. And I think it's just because our parents they want us to be good. They want us to be happy. But I don't think it's good to be happy just to be happy. Like I think if you're happy, you got to genuinely be happy. It's not, yeah, it's not something that we don't just will it. You are happy, and you are happy, and you are happy, and you are happy. No, you got to genuinely be happy. And so, and happiness is not all the time. Happiness is not all the time. So why do we expect everybody in our lives to be happy all the time? Seems unfair to me. Seems not realistic. It seems like a unrealistic standard that we will not ever be able to meet. So then we just pretend like we're happy all the time. It's exhausting. So I'd rather be alone than to be someone's peace, to be always happy and obliging and compliant and complacent. I'd rather be alone. I'd rather have very few students at the school that are really dedicated, not even dedicated to the school, but dedicated to themselves. And they recognize that the what we believe our values, which we talk about a lot, and our mission and all of that, that's you feel in alignment with that. And if nobody feels in alignment with that, which very well might happen, I'm willing to deal with that. Makes me scared. I refuse to beg. I refuse to beg anyone. On that note, have a good one.